how's it going? We're back for some more testing. Finally on a Monday. But somebody's not sleeping. Like typical. On Monday afternoons, evenings. Fuck off, whatever. Also, friends, you're not planning on burying that hatchet, are you? Like in the back of my skull? I don't think he's here. I know I'm not muted. I think he fucked off. Anyways, fuck up my perfectly good joke. Dickhead. So, the reason why we had no testing last week is because he was working on doing some back-end refactoring work that has all been completed, and everything should be taken care of. When he gets back here, he would like to indulge us in exactly what the hell all this refactoring stuff was. He can. I have no freaking clue, because that's not my thing. Origin system is now datapack based. Probably going to need to test that out a bit to see exactly how that works. I'll have to get with him and actually find out a bit more how that works, because I don't know how datapack shit works. I know somebody in his Discord was wanting to make ores spawn all the way up to like build height or some really weird crap, and that's why this got done. So it's datapack based instead of using JSONs in the config folder. Vein should now sync from server to client, and that means that if we look up like diamond ore, it should actually tell us that it is a diamond vein. Primary is graphite, secondary is graphite. Between diamond ore diamond is a between ore, and then sporadic is coal ore, and it generates in the overworld, the jammed mining dimension, on the moon, and Mars. Which I actually I think that's actually wrong. I know he's using New Horizons code, and I'm worried that that is why this is messed up, because I am pretty sure diamonds are also supposed to be in the Nether, because I know I used to go mining there for graphite. Problem is, I don't have an origin thing for that. I do have WorldGen config though. WorldGen find. Now, is it graphite or diamond? Diamond. Mars, true. Max height 10. Min height 5. Moon, true. Nether, true. Overworld, true. End, false. That's what I thought. That is supposed to be in the Nether as well, which I'm guessing is why he thought that small ores didn't belong there. Because we were discussing that the other day. that you should be able to find small diamond ore in the nether, and you absolutely should be able to find it regular diamond veins in the nether as well. So I just linked him that. We'll be in chat for now till I figure out what the fuck is wrong with my Discord. For some reason I couldn't hear you in Discord, but Discord showed you were speaking. Going to try updating Discord. Okay. Well, at least now we know why he wasn't responding to my horrible joke. I just sent you something in Discord because I randomly decided to look up diamond ore and seen that you have it set up for not in the nether, and it most definitely should be in the nether. I sent you the config because you got to remember New Horizons fucked with a lot of shit. So I'm guessing that might be why that's not right. And I also sent you the final version of GT5 that's not Bear's Den Edition world config, so you can kind of check over if there's anything you want to adjust. But it definitely should be in there unless you're going for like the GT6 thing. But that should only be for like GT6 style veins, I think. Alright, so we're still waiting on the oxygen for that. Those just got done, so let's get that over here and cooled because we need these for our other project we were doing. I'm literally just stalling for a minute so he can get his ass back in here. I see that he's in Discord now, but he's muted. We'll see if he can actually hear me in a minute. Alright, so what do we got next here? Now, if he can't hear me, it may be my fault. I was fucking around with my Discord earlier. I'm definitely lighting up. So it should be. Still not working. I'm not hearing doubles. Okay, well, hold on. Let me disconnect and reconnect. Can you hear me now? Can you unmute so I can see if I can hear you? Because you're showing muted on my side.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine. Weird that you can't hear me, though. And I don't know anybody that's online that could jump in with us to see if they can hear me. You want to jump over to GT Help and maybe jumping in a different channel will make it work? You can go over to the recording studio over there. Gotta love good old technical difficulties. Can you hear me now, motherfucker? Guessing that's a no. What if he broke his headphones? Give me 1 second. I've got something I'm gonna try. Hopefully he's not asleep yet. Nah, he must be asleep. That didn't work either. No shit. I guess you're gonna have to listen through the stream, and I'll take long, awkward pauses to wait for you to answer. Though you might want to go to YouTube because it has lower latency than Twitch. Twitch has longer latency. Nah, no fucking idea, dude. Dan isn't even on, so I can holler at him real quick. Alright, well, let's get through this changelog. We'll have to work out what the hell's wrong later. Scroll back up here to the changelog. Okay. So, we already showed that the ore info should show in JI now, which it does. Added min Y and max Y restrictions to stone layers that will merge into a replacement stone once reaching the min or max Y. Basically, that is for regular granite will spawn higher up in the world, above 0, and then red granite will spawn below that. So if you're just starting off in the world and you're playing with GT5 style veins, you won't have to worry about what Dan ran into in his testing world the other day, where a tin vein spawned literally right in a red granite vein, and so he couldn't mine it till he got a level 3 pick. Similarly, deep slate will only spawn at the bottom now, and regular slate will be the upper, and then it's shale and black granite. So basically all the harder stuff will be down below 0, and the easier stuff to mine through will be up top. You will still have like blue schist and green schist. It's pretty easy to mine down lower, but that's going to limit. You also have limestone and marble. Those are going to spawn throughout all of it. You can't really limit everything to be easier stuff up top and lighter shit down below, especially since some of them have ores that they need to spawn in. This just takes care of the real egregious ones that were rough to deal with up high, not to take away the easier ones down low. And there should be the only ore that can still spawn up high that is kind of a pain in the ass to deal with, but isn't a level 3, is the comatite basalt. And basalt's not really that bad. And kimberlite. That's the other ones that are Torch is doing it again. That are up top, but they're not level 3, they're only level 2. You can get through them with iron. They're just really annoying because of how slow they are to mine through. But they're not horrible, so. Hey Les. Hey Gregor. Doing fine. Fixed stone layers not generating in JMD dimension. By changing the generation step they generate at. So now, which I'm not really worried about that dimension. The only reason why we added it was because we didn't want to have to go thousands of blocks away to test the bedrock stuff. But I know some people like to keep their overworld pristine, so it is kind of cool that he's got that working. Oh, Dan, fuck, you are. Would you show online when you're online, you asshole? Jump into general voice real quick. So you can help us find out if it's my mic or his fucking headphones or Discord or something that's fucked up, because he can't hear me. If I seen your ass was online, I'd have hollered at you 20 minutes ago. Can you hear me, motherfucker?
Yeah.
Good. Thank you. Now fuck off. Alright, that's done. So it's on Trins' side, not my side. That makes me feel better. Okay. That was for the GT lib stuff. Trins, can you explain what the back end stuff was that you did? Because I remember you told me, but I don't remember what it was. And now I'll shut up so he won't talk over me.
You basically just made it so use. It's a data pack basically. Everything is done by data packs now.
Oh, okay, that's what it was. All right. Thank you. Fucking new shit in their damn data packs. GT Spartan is next on the list, so that's what we're going over next, which is that he updated it to work with the latest GT lib, and he fixed enchantments not being on throwing weapons. I'm assuming that's why he made the hatchet. How the hell do you spell hatchet? Am I... Where the hell is hatchet? Oh, it's a tomahawk. Tomahawk, dumbass. But yeah, it should have, like, if we look at... okay, now I can't spell tomahawk. I should be ashamed of myself. So, like, a steel one or a night metal one should have. Okay, netherite is fireproof. Damascus steel has sharpness 5. Adamantium has sharpness 7. Titanium alloy doesn't have one. Netherized diamond is fireproof. Fiery steel has fire aspect 2. Night metal apparently has nothing. I thought since it was a steel thing, it would have sharpness on it. Knockback 1, looting 2. Alright, so those should now work, and he obviously tested a little bit ago because he made a tomahawk. When he gets back in here, if he wants, he can throw it at me and I can take a look at it. But fixed weapons not showing enchantments in JEI, so we just looked at that. And then the GT5R stuff. So he fixed lapis, redstone, and iron hammer drops, which that is something that I need to look at real quick before we do anything else, because we noticed something in Dan's stream the other day. So chromite ore in the forged hammer, yeah, these are giving pure ore. These should be impure dust, not purified. Just the same as it would if it was put in the mortar. It should be the same in the forged hammer, because basically going to purified means that it's already been washed and it gets the second stage of byproducts. So you're basically just skipping the washing phase here, where it's not supposed to do that. This would be what you get from a centrifuge, not from ore washing. If you look and see, this is going to give tiny... that's probably not the best one to look at. Let me look at iron. There we go, iron. So if you look at the impure, when you centrifuge it, it gives nickel. When you look at the, where is the hammer? Now see, this one is actually right. So if we wash it, and then we hammer it, where is the... okay, that one doesn't have a hammer recipe. So there's a hammer recipe missing for the native iron. But anyways, if you put that into the macerator to get the pure iron and centrifuge it, it's going to give you tin. So if it went straight to the pure, it would then give you the tin instead of the nickel. So you would either lose out on the first one or you jump to the second one. And it's really not important that you're jumping to the second one. It's the third one that's usually the more rare one to get. But still, it should be that way. So he definitely needs to go through this list and fix them. Like the one we noticed was sulfur. Where is... I know it's one of these yellow pricks. Limonite. Oh, there's type sulfur. We noticed it was sulfur that it gave pure. Now, it really doesn't matter because sulfur just gives sulfur. it doesn't matter what stage you're at, you're always getting sulfur. Because what the hell would you give as a byproduct for sulfur? It's sulfur. So yeah, he definitely needs to take a look at the hammer recipes for the crushed and the purified. Like, there's no hammer recipe for purified to pure sulfur. Even though when I do it this way, it says you can get it from the crushed. And maybe that's why it's missing. Maybe it's because it's two different things. I don't know. I ain't gonna try to figure it out. That's for him to figure out. Hopefully fixes any issues with hammering down, crushed, purified, etc. Which did not. Move overworld copper down. That is for Chaco. These veins here were spawning way too freaking high. They should be down near the bottom. So this is the nether version, which is 10 to 30. Which, again, for some reason, I don't believe he had. Because I believe he said somewhere, yeah, added nether copper vein. This vein should have already been there. It's a sulfide. Anything that's sulfur-based should basically be in the nether. The only one I think of that I can think of that isn't in the nether that is sulfur-based or a sulfide is galena. I think that's the only one that's not in there. I think all the rest are in there. But then you look and here's the overworld, which is overworld jammed Moon and Mars, and it is now negative 30 to 0, down where it's supposed to be, not up high, which does mean if you're using the GT5 stone layers, you're going to run into probably harder stones to deal with, where if you're using the GT6 ones, not so much. Now, I'm wondering if that's going to mess with any of these veins for GT6. We may have to look at those when I do my single player testing of this, and Trins may need to look at. But if I'm trying to think, in GT6, this vein isn't the same vein. In GT6, it's arsenic, pyrite, sphalerite, and Chaco. You pretty much rely on tetra veins unless you're looking for zinc. And it's also pyrite and sulfur. So I still have to look at all of that stuff because I haven't started the single player testing. But what you should be getting early game is tetra, because this spawns from 51 to 131. It should be up high, easy to find. Overworld, nether, Moon, Mars, everywhere. This shit spawns everywhere, and it has lots of copper in it. And for iron, you shouldn't be going for the iron and Chaco mixed vein. You should either be doing limonite, which has hematite, malachite, which is another copper, even though it's, not great for copper. Brown and yellow limonite, found again in all of them, or because you will find it literally fucking everywhere, magnetite. And it is, for some reason, not found on the moon, which is funny. But you can find it negative 41 to negative 91. Does the world go to negative 91?
It's not negative, it's positive.
Why does it say negative 14 to negative 9? Am I on crack, or is that just looking weird?
It's 2. It does look weird.
Okay. And magnetite should be right on the surface, too, so... Mars overworld. It's also weird that this one should be... Shouldn't there be like 2 separate ones for if it's in the nether or if it's in the overworld? Seeing as how they're different depths. Now, the magnetite one should not, because the magnetite should be near the surface. So it could be nether or overworld and not matter, because it should be somewhere right around the surface. It should be like, I'm ballparking this, but it should be roughly like 60 to 40. It should be really high up. May even go higher than 60. I can't remember if you can find it. When we were doing GT508, yes, I found magnetite in the side of a mountain. So yeah, it's probably like 80 to 40 is where you find it. Which would be perfect for both of these. So and then the gold one is a completely different vein, because this one you only find with vanadium, iron, and then the magnetite. This one you have the vanadium and gold and magnetite. There is no actual native iron in it. But for like the Chaco vein, you had to split that. But I would definitely look at the way that's looking, because that looks weird. Oh, and we got a fucking bot already. My God, they are getting ridiculous. They weren't too bad this afternoon, but it seems like the more in the evening we stream, the more we get hit. We only got one this afternoon. Fucking Dan's even getting hit with them. Okay, so that takes care of that. Fix the roaster. Oxygen usage. So, oxygen 1834. 1834? Are you sure that's right? That one's 667.
I copied the exact amounts on GT6.
Okay, he must use different... I was just assuming they were the same number, but it must be the amount of sulfur in there, so... I trust you. Calcite to quicklime and gives carbon dioxide. Is that right? Did you decide to do a... Ah, he did. He did do an air one for sulfur. Cool. So we can use air to process some of our sulfur for sulfur dioxide, and then electrolyze that to get the oxygen out if it's not too horribly bad, which it doesn't look like it's too horribly bad on electricity, and then we can do that as a loop. I would definitely want to redstone it to where we could turn this off if we had enough. But we'll have to take a look at that. And I think, actually, now that we're discussing it, I want to take a second and if I can remember where it's at, I want to turn the oxygen off. I'm thinking it's this one. I want to disable this for right now. So we'll stop getting, nope, that wasn't it. That's not it. That has to be it. It's not that. Is it? Oh, yeah. And it is. Okay, so that's now off. That'll quit eating all our oxygen so our steel can actually get done so we can make our boiler or our steam turbines. Fix the electrolyzing recipe of tritillated water. Still can't believe that one. That one was funny. So tritillated water now gives tritium and oxygen, not fucking tritanium or whatever the fuck it was. Which it looks like he actually added the tritanium color from GT6. Because that was like white last time, not this blue color. Now, do you actually have the... I don't see the recipe for making this stuff. You didn't add a recipe for making this yet? The, whatever the hell it was. I don't remember what the hell it was. Okay. Because we actually found there's like two different things that sound really familiar. Or, not familiar, really close. One is tritanium and the other one is... or trinitanium or something like that. I don't remember. But, yeah, there's two really weird sci-fi things. In GT6. Okay, so that's been fixed, so that's something else we can set up as well to get us oxygen. This is where we were talking about the stone layer thing. He added max height to black granite, red granite, and deep slate. They will now merge into shale, granite, and slate respectively above 0. Same is true in reverse for shale, granite, and slate layers. In all of them, the max or minimum height is 0. He removed the stone layer with vanilla stone. None of us could come up with a reason why vanilla stone was actually necessary. And since we couldn't find a reason why it needed to be there, and a lot of people get kind of confused when they run into vanilla stone with the stone layers, we just decided to take it out. And you literally have a rock cutter, a rock breaker. It's not hard to make. You can even make it at LV. The only thing even close to difficult is you need the diamond gear thing for it. But this thing literally just makes cobblestone. 16 ticks, 512 EU, makes cobblestone. And, you know, there's 100,000 different ways of making cobblestone generators now. So, I don't know why you would need it. The only thing I could think of is if a mod needed it to generate their ore, but then I would say they should probably be able to use the data pack thing, or they should, you know, get a hold of Trends and he can add a vein, add it into a vein, or they can add a custom vein or something and fuck off.
Well, because Minecraft has deep slate now, they should be using tags properly.
Oh, yeah, true. I don't think of all this weird shit. Okay, so while I'm loudly opening my pop, remove stone layer, replace stone in GT6 amber veins with slate. This I actually found interesting because I never knew what it was that caused amber to be so freaking rare in GT6. But it's like convergence of what, 4 different stone types that makes amber spawn.
Yeah, it's lignite, coal, and oil shale.
Lignite coal, regular coal, shale, or oil shale, and vanilla stone were the 4 that had to spawn together, basically, and that's where you got amber. So now the regular ore has been, or the regular stone has been replaced with slate. Added world gen section to the GT5R config. Added some bowlines for disabling default ores. He fixed the Steam macerator, not Stone macerator. This ain't IC2 Classic. There was a mistake where this, for some reason, had a brick hull and we didn't notice it. That got fixed. So it now has a regular hull in it. Made huge turbine rotors, used long adamantium. This was another discussion we had, because they used to be a mercium or a mercurium, however you pronounce it, rods, which are radioactive, and we have radioactive, or we have fuel rods for it, so there's no reason you should be using that for a rod. Makes very little sense to have something that is radioactive hooked to a big fuck off fan. You kind of want to keep your radioactive particles contained. You don't really want them being sprayed actively with a fan all over the place, which is what would happen if they were in the middle of your fan. So now you use adamantium for the huge ones. This also means that you don't have to wait until you get to, is it the first level of fusion we worked out is where they were? Or was that Europium that, and it was the first one? I couldn't remember. We figured it
second.
out. Second? Okay. Yeah, I think it was Europium, then Americium, and then Neutronium. And adamantium you can get from, I'm literally just being lazy and backing through all of this shit. From electrolyzing adamantine, and you can get adamantine from the, is it this one? I think it's this one you get. You get it from the Bedrock Miner, but I don't see the Bedrock Miner showing up here as that's where it comes from, which there really should be a way that shows that. Oh, wait a minute, it's Bedrock Dust, isn't it? It's centrifuging the Bedrock Dust gives you a tiny bit, I think. No, not centrifuging. No. Electromagnetic. Fuck! I'll get this eventually. Bedrock Dust will give you deep slate dust, tiny adamantine dust, monazite, zircon, and graphite. And that you get from the bedrock drill at a 0.1% chance. Very low chance when you're mining bedrock stuff. But that is then possible before you build your fusion reactor, so you don't have to wait until then to have the huge turbines if you want them. And I guess while we're talking about it, we are talking about doing a revamp of the turbine blades. It's probably something that's going to be waiting until It gets backported from 119, 120, because a lot of these things do not make any logical sense whatsoever. Like, nobody's going to be using something as dense as gold or even tungsten for the blades. I actually went and found a realistic, what they actually use IRL for turbines, which I actually found it was kind of funny. One of the things, I'm not sure I was on the right thing, because you got to pay attention, because some of the turbines will be talking about like wind turbines instead of like steam or gas turbines. But I swear one of them said that it actually used steel slots with wood turbine blades. I'm guessing that was for steam, not for gas, since you don't want hot fire near wood. So I'm guessing this was for like early steam turbines, but I just thought that was kind of funny. We're not going to have wood turbine blades. That makes no fucking sense for an industrial turbine. But it is going to give us more uses for nickel, because a lot of them are nickel based, because nickel's so good at dealing with heat stuff. That was one thing I read on that Wikipedia page about it, was that most of them are some kind of nickel alloy. But like I said, that'll probably be once we get into the hard settings, and we may even wait until we get done with getting all of that stuff, or when we get to the testing part where we're going to make them, where we actually change it. But these would still be in there. It would just be a setting where you could, it would be called like realistic turbine. So if you really wanted to still use the old GT5 style, well, GT5U style, because these didn't exist in GT5, you could use still these, but it's going to be default to use the more realistic ones, I think. I don't like talking about future shit, because you never know what's going to happen. But that's what I'm planning or hoping. 60 master reader. Added a more lossy forge hammer config for plates. This is true by default, and I'll explain why we did this. If you look at plate, if I could spell, so like an iron plate, you do 2-to-1 with a regular hammer, and you do with the forge hammer now 2-to-1, exactly the same. This is the GT5 way of doing it. The 3-to-2 thing was only added by Bloody to promote people to actually make the forge hammer, rather than just making tons of regular hammers, because this is quicker than doing the forge hammer thing. So he was trying to promote people to do this. And I don't think that's a good reason to do it. If people want to be wasteful and they want to make tons of freaking hammers and do this, there is so much fuel in this world with all the coal and lignite veins. And it's so much quicker to acquire said fuel, with the fact that it's a stone layer and there's no stone in the middle. You can just buzz right through it. There's no reason people should not be making the forge hammer to automate this process, because, hold on, looking at you, Dan, you should have more than one fucking boiler in the steam age. motherfucker, driving me up the wall with that shit. You should be making enough steam to handle it. Yes, the forge hammer does take a lot of steam. It does take a little bit more time than throwing it in your inventory. But we have also added now, to make it a little less painful, a steam cutter. There is a bronze version and a steel version. Now, granted, they both take a steel buzzsaw blade. This is the last thing you can make in the Bronze Age, and honestly, I use this in GT4R. I just make this version, the steel one, which does take a lot more steel. But then I don't have to upgrade from the bronze one to the steel one, and it gets things done way quicker. You just use regular water in it, and you cut a block into 9 plates, so you can still get better than what you could in the forge hammer with the GT5U way of doing it. You can actually do it like you would do it in a bender. Just again, it's going to take a lot more time. Like iron takes 89 seconds. That's over a minute to run this recipe. And it takes a ton of steam to run this thing. So you have to have good amount of steam. It even says 30 millibuckets a tick is how much steam it takes to run this thing. But it is really nice for saving your material and not wasting so much. And it gets rid of that stupid 3-to-2 recipe that I've always hated in GT5U. And back to the proper way of doing it from GT5, which is it's a way to automate the hammering process, so you're not wasting material on hammers, and you're not babysitting, manually doing every recipe. You can put a stack of them in there, let them run, and then when you need them, they're done. You don't have to babysit every step. That's what automation is for. Kind of what GregTech is about. Will you make a way to store steam so you don't have to make lots of boilers? Absolutely not. I didn't do anything. I can do it with only 2. You can do it shittily and slowly with only 2. You should do it properly, and you should make at least 4. Steel ones. The other way of doing it will still be an option. It's just going to be set to true. This way, you would have to turn it off. Set it to false if you wanted it the other way. Made coke ovens and primitive blast furnaces not share casings, which they absolutely should not have been doing in the first place. It was a bug that they actually did. As you can see, we didn't have to fix anything because we didn't do it in the first place. Which is why we didn't know it was a bug, because I don't do that shit. I hate that shit. As you can see, I don't do it with any of my other machines either, which I don't think is actually possible to do in this one. I think that was only GT5U that did it. And just for anybody that would like to know, I actually found out the other day why wall sharing was a thing, and I found it hilarious. Greg made it a thing basically as a fuck you to another modder, because Railcraft, if you take any Railcraft block, like if you're doing a coke oven, the coke oven blocks from Railcraft, if you would place one block next to a fully formed coke oven, it would completely disable the coke oven you had fully formed. Same thing with tanks. You always had to make sure that your tanks were a block apart, because if you stuck another tank block next to it, it would fuck up the whole tank. And so Greg did it as a, hey, look, it can be done properly, and made it to where you could literally share the walls of shit. Found it funny. Still don't like it. If you have 4, you're not wasting coal. You can't waste coal. Coal is everywhere. Shut up and stop being a lazy bitch. Look, dude, look at the amount of coke ovens we have up here. This is 2 deep of coke ovens. We have 8 of them running all the time, making us coke. Because those 8 are what feeds this big bastard right here, that feeds this big bastard right here, that makes us the power right here. And as you can see, we are always full on coke. Which, by the way, I have to say, Trins and I's job did nicely, because we are out of everything that ran before. Our actual weird-ass spider redstoning down there worked rather well. Now we just need to get, these back there so they can get ran. And we need to get something done with this. Is it possible to make a giant only steam factory? No. This isn't New Horizons stupid ass fucking joke April Fool's thing. You can't have a full steam factory. 90% of these machines don't run on Steam. If you want Steam factory, play GT6. You can run it completely on Steam. You still have to convert steam to electric for electrolyzers, and you have to convert it to kinetic energy for those machines, but GT6 is a completely different beast from what we're doing here. I have been thinking, though, about how to make a couple more things Steam-based, so we can make Steam-based a little bit longer, but we haven't decided yet if we're doing it, and if we do, how we're doing it. But it would be basically so you could make like a steam-powered lathe and maybe a wire mill, so they didn't have to be your first machines when you got into electric. You would be able to make them in Steam Age to save on your handcrafting stuff, allow you to automate things a bit more in the Steam Age to get you to the electric age. But again, haven't decided on if we're doing it or not. I think we've done all the major changes we plan on doing for the 118 version, at least. Made coke ovens auto output, so they will now auto output their fluid downwards. So all of these pumps are no longer needed that we ended up making. That's the way they were in GT6 and the way they are in GT4R. So now it's the way they are here in GT5R. Well, the pack is in our Discord and on our website. And our website is linked in the bottom thing of Twitch. If you want to try it out, you can. It's not complete. It's not tested all the way through. But if you want to give it a try, you can. Things change every week. Already talked about it. Added the steam cutter. That's something that was added to GT4R and has now been added to GT5R. We've already looked at it. You just have to do the blocks in the compressor and then put them in there. It'll also, because it is a block cutter, it'll also make planks, so you don't have to use the saw. You can literally just throw your wood in and it'll give you 4 planks. And then when you get to the point that you can make lubricant, you can get 6. And it'll give you a bit of wood pulp as well. You get a little bit of extra wood pulp when you're using water instead of lubricant. And you can literally make lubricant. You don't have to do the distillation thing. If you really wanted to, you could do it early with oil and talc, or creosote and talc. And there's also redstone and creosote. You can make lubricant that way. Better way of doing it is literally just doing oil processing, but you can do it the other way. No. Trins is doing an amazing job. I am only helping with what you see right now. I am testing and I'm giving advice. I'm telling him the way things were in GT 1 through 6, looking things up like that. He's making all the decisions of what does stay, what doesn't stay, what gets added, what changes. I'm just the mouth behind it. The big mouth behind it. I'm not doing any of the work. He does all the work. So any credit on this being an amazing mod goes to that man right there. He's doing all the work. I'm literally just copying Greg's shit and coming up with some weird ideas here and there of my own. And showing it to y'all and testing it. Trying to break it. It's because my microphone works. Yeah. See, if his microphone worked better and he didn't talk through a sock, he wouldn't even need me. I'm only here because I kept talking shit about GTI being dead. He also fixed wood plates, which drove me nuts when I seen it. At one point, you could actually do the wood plates. These are pressure plates. I think I have to do it wood first. I just seen it. This one. Oh, wood plank instead of plate. I don't know why it's plank. This is a plank. This is a plate. But either way, it's just making it harder to look it up.
Blame Greg.
Yeah, I do. I blame Greg for a lot. This is supposed to be the only way to make it is in the compressor. And I'm assuming Greg did it because it's supposed to be like one part of the planks block. This is supposed to be the only way to make it. For some reason, there was a extruder recipe in there for it. I hated it. It broke my brain. That is gone. Thanks again to Dan for just scrolling through weird shit while I was watching, so I actually seen it existed, because I'd have never thought that it would have existed to look at it to yell about it needing to be removed. You're welcome. Yes. I absolutely love that Dan is now testing this as well, because when I'm in here testing, I'm either one, running my big freaking mouth and trying to tell you about things and remembering to tell you guys about things, discussing things with friends. And there's things that I just forget to look at or don't think of at the time. And then when I see somebody else doing it, it's like, hey, you can do this that way, or you can do this that way, or hey, that shouldn't exist, or, there's lots of things I can do when I don't have 30 other things on my mind that I'm doing. So, if you guys enjoy watching this stuff, make sure you go and watch Dan when he's testing it. Usually he gets to the point where he pisses me off about something and I have to jump into voice and yell at him. So if you're one of the, people that enjoy listening to me yell, as long as it's not at them, you should enjoy his stream even more, because you'll get me yelling at him. Because he really does some really stupid things, like counting out torches. Oh my God, that drives me nuts. But he usually streams testing this on the days that I don't, if he's, feeling well enough to do so, because he has back issues just like I do. Usually on the weekend, like Friday and Saturday, when I'm not doing something in the evenings. Which, depending on how he feels, if he gets shit set up, we are about to end here for the night, because we want to keep this all testing and looking at the change logs and not work on other things. We'll work on the other stuff tomorrow. So if he wants to stream some testing, if you can start ASAP, get it started, and I will raid you like I did last time. Just let me know when you got it ready to go. Remove the Steam specific map in the in favor of just displaying the info in the regular machine category. We've kind of already seen that today, but I will show it off a little bit here. So basically, if we look at the uses for this, you can see that all of the macerators, pulverizers are in this side thing, and so oops. So you can see here that it says the duration, the EU. This is if you're using the Steam one, the duration, and then tells you the byproduct. So there doesn't have to be a list and a separate tab up here for each one of them. You can just have one whole thing. It makes it way less complicated. You don't have to click through 2 different tabs to see what it is. And granted, if you're running in this one versus this one, this is going to be way slower than if you're running in this one. But same thing. Let's see. And then there's some GT4R stuff, which I will do a GT4R stream sometime this week, now that the tool thing's fixed and I can get back in there. For anybody that enjoys the GT4R stuff, it kind of gets done when it can. This is kind of the priority right now, to get it to 119 or 120. So that's why it kind of only gets done once every few weeks. Hopefully we can get some of the more major things behind us, and then I can just play through a bit more and test it a bit more often. But I will check out that a bit more this week. And it's nice, some of the stuff I find over there helps us fix things over here. Which, before we leave, hopefully there is a fix coming for the issue that Dan found in the boilers, we don't have them. I gave Trins the timestamp of it, and that should be fixed soon. We're not putting out a update for this week due to that being a thing. When he gets that figured out, and there is a few texture things missing, like in the steam cutter here. This is a mixing texture in the bronze one for some reason. I don't believe it's an issue in the regular ones. Yeah, see, we have it here, but for some reason in the steam one, it's a missing texture. There's a few of those things that need to be worked out as well, and Trins was working today, so didn't have time to do a hot fix. Maybe we'll have one in a couple days, and if not, we'll update next week. As per usual, we'll be back here tomorrow to get some work done on the reactor stuff if my back don't hurt and the creek don't rise. So, hope you guys have enjoyed. If Dan is ready, I'll go ahead and throw you guys over to him. He has sent me to the link, or sent me the links. Well, for some reason he only sent me the YouTube link, but that's fine. Here is the link in YouTube. Those on Twitch, you are about to get magically teleported over to his channel. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys over there or next time. Later.